All right. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for today's discussion, continuing on Canto 1, Chapter 3. So now we're going to discuss from verse 33 onwards. So today is a wonderful day. And today is what day? 23rd April 2026. So on this auspicious day, we have gathered to continue our discussion on the topics of Bhagavatam. And today, I think we have a new person here, Saras, H-I. HL.
Hare
Is
Krishna
it
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. You are from Bangalore, is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
What's your name, Mataji? Saras what?
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. My name is Saraswati. I am waiting for initiation, Prabhu.
Oh, that's very nice. No, what do you mean by HI or is it HL?
HL Prabhu, that is my family name.
Oh, HL. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Nice. Welcome. Welcome on board, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We
Yes,
are all
Mataji.
God sisters, Saraswati Mataji, Kabir Das Prabhu, and myself. We are all from ICC South Bangalore.
Oh, okay. So that means when you will be her initiation? I think Guru Maharaj is in Delhi now, I think.
Mayapur, we got our interview done, Prabhu. We are waiting for our initiation.
Yes. How nice you all in India. Mayapur and everything is just a train away.
Is he in Delhi, Prabhu? Is Guru Maharaj in Delhi?
Yeah. He left Malaysia yesterday.
Okay.
And arriving, because today I saw in the group, they say arriving in Delhi.
Is he going to US, Prabhu? Any chance?
I think so. I think that's the idea.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
I think he need to renew his green card.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Prabhu.
Okay. So nice. Okay. Wow. What a day. Just after that Chaitanya Charitamrita class, and I know the class is becoming so intense until they just couldn't stop. Okay, let's do our invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshapanavi Devi Daitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Tarine Rupanuga Viruda Pasidanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Surupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhume Stomni Dasa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha Vancha Kalpata Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paditanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhayo Namo Namaha Om Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yantu vande Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nasta prayesva abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Jaya Pataka Swaminiti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakada Damadaya Nagara Grama Tarini. Jai Gurudev Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we're going to continue. Anyway, by the way, you have already posted in the group. The class has started. I hope that you have posted in the group. Okay, so we're going to continue our discussion in our very, very nectarian discussion. So up to yesterday, what we have, the few verses before yesterday we have read, okay, from verse 30, they say the conception of Virat Rupa. Okay, Rupa, I mean, Bhakti, I mean, what they call? Sutta Goswami is explaining why this Virat Rupa is not mentioned in all that avatars. In chapter 3, we read all kind of incarnations, all right? Expansion, plenary, portion of the plenary. So he was telling the plenary portion, his Leela avatar, like Narasingha, Vamana, and all this. And portion of the prayer is like empower, like Narada, Kumara. And the portion of that is also called the empowered devotees, like even now, like our Srila Prabhupada. So after all these things mentioned, now he's explaining why Virat Rupa or the Vishwa Rupa or the big gigantic form that what we see in chapter 11 Bhagavad Gita, the universal form, why that is not mentioned. Then here in this verse is mentioning that all these things are considered imaginary and it is meant for less intelligent people, okay, just to adjust the idea about the form of God, okay. Then just like in verse 31, Sutta Goswami is explaining about the cloud and dust, all right, very nicely explained. The cloud were carried by the air and the dust was also carried by the air. But the less intelligent people, please mute. Right. But the but the less intelligent people think the air is dirty and it's cloudy. Just like that, the perception, it is. So just to show them, these kind of forms were created. Okay. Then it says, then after that, the last verse yesterday we have studied. Okay, I just put the verse here for everyone. Okay, what it says here, verse 32, text 32, it says that beyond these gross, okay, beyond this gross conception, that means beyond this gross body, our material body is made of 5 elements. All right, there is another form which is subtle. All right, subtle, that cannot be seen, but it's there. So that is without any formal shape or is unseen. It doesn't have a proper shape. Like we human being, we got the shape, but the subtle form, no shape. Okay, it is be unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. Okay, so the living being has this form beyond this subtlety. So that means first in a human form, we have gross body, then we have subtle body. Okay, the gross body is made of how many elements? Can anyone tell me? How many elements in gross body?
Five, Prabhu. Five Panchabhutas.
Okay, Panchaputa. Then what else? That's all? Is that all?
And then the elements, the sense organs, Prabhu. Five
Okay.
Jnanendriya, five
All right.
Karmendriyas. And then
Karmendriya. Okay.
five
Yes.
Karmendriyas.
All right. Five. What they call element. Then five senses. Okay. Then you also say about five Karmendriya, working senses, right? Working senses. Then what else? Is that all?
5 tanmatras, Prabhu. Tanmatras.
That means what? In English?
5 sense objects.
Sense object. Okay. So five sense object. That means we learn. All right. So that means totally how many?
24 elements.
20.
20 here. Another 4
Yes, 20.
elements.
But there's another one. Is that 20 alone?
4 more elements. Subtle body,
Okay.
Prabhu. Mind,
Subtle got three.
intelligence.
Subtle here got 3. Okay, mind, intelligence, ego, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
But you say there's 24, right?
And the soul.
No, soul is not material.
Mahat Tattva.
Mahat.
What is
Material.
that?
Material.
Pradhana.
Material.
What? Say it again.
Pradhana. Pradhana, she said.
Pradhana, correct. +1. The one is Pradhana. Pradhana means what? The 3 mode of material nature. I mean, the 3 this thing, goodness, passion, ignorance. So how we understand Pradhana? We understand Pradhana means unmanifested. That means it's prepared for you, use as you like. All right. The mode of goodness, the material mode, goodness, passion, ignorance. You use as you like. For instance, today I feel I'm very passionate. I use the mode of passion. So that means Pradhana means it is prepared, just like we have money in our account. Okay, we got a money in our account. So we have a debit card. So whenever we need the money, we just put into ATM, we take out the money. So like that. So I'm just giving an example. But of course, this Pradhana is not as what we think. It's not as easy as what we think, right? Because the Pradhana is also included into the mind, which is basically controlling our entire system. All right. So that means we understand there are a total of 24 elements, that is gross and subtle. But now this verse says the subtle form, it doesn't have any formal shape. What does it mean by formal shape? Now we got a human being, we got a human formal shape. Then say when you see a dog, okay, the dog has a dog formal shape. That means it's a form, right? But the what they call the subtle form, it is nothing is such available. Okay, it doesn't have a formal shape, and that is also unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. All right. So this is the verse that we have covered yesterday, and today we're going to do text 33. Okay, text 33. Let's look at this. Yatre me. Okay, now the few words that I would like to highlight here. Okay, first is there's a E here. E and E. So when we see E and E, we pull the raga. Yatre me. Sat, asat. So sat, asat, we combine the word sadasat, ru. Okay, there's a pull the raga, rupe. So whenever we see O or E, you can naturally pull the raga. You don't need to have any point. I mean, you don't need to have any, mark on the top. But like when you see A, okay, A, you see I, they need to put a dash on top. So that's to give you an indication you need to pull the raga. But O and E, no need. Just naturally can pull the raga. Yatre me sadasat rupe. Even you also they put that, right? Even you also they put the dash there, so that naturally you have to pull the raga. Pratishide, prati, S. S means if S dot at the bottom, how are you going to pronounce? Roll the tongue, and put it on your phalanx. Sha, sha. So pratishit de. So there's double D here. So pratishit, shit, de. De, there's an E here. We pull the raga. So pratishit de swa. Okay, there's an M with the dot on top. When you see the M with the dot on top, we pronounce like NG, the word NG, All right, but no, we don't say N, the that means that you pronounce the word M from your nose. So Pratishiddesva Sangvida. Sangvida. Okay. Avidyayatmani. Avidyaya. Okay, there's a here. Pull the raga. Avidyayatmani. Krte. R with a dot. Okay, this is the only word that you can find in Sanskrit. You pronounce rrr, rrr, okay. Krte. You pull the raga. E. There's a E here. Krte. Iti tat brahma darshanam. Okay, there's a S with the apostrophe. How are we going to pronounce? Just like how you pronounce shampoo. Shampoo. Right? But if it's just CS, just a S without anything, it sounds like S. Singapore. All right? Sudan. All right? That's just a normal S. Okay? Let's try. Yatrime sadasa rupe pratishidde swasangvida avidyayatmani kritte iti tad brahma darshanam yatrime sadasat rupe pratishidde swasangvida avidyayatmani kritte iti tad brahma darshanam yatre sadasat rupe pratishidde swasangvida avidyayatmani kritte iti tat brahma darshanam. Okay, anybody like to recite the verse?
Prabhu,
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yatre me sada sat rupe pratishuddhaye swasam vida
Very good.
avidyaya mani krate idit brahma darshanam.
Okay, not
Hare
Brahma.
Krishna.
Not Brahma. Brahma is
Brahma,
what? Brahma is not Brahma.
Brahma
Right?
darshanam.
There's no dash here, right?
Yeah,
So this is Brahma Darshanam.
Brahma darshanam. Okay.
Very
Thank
good,
you,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
For
Thank
a
you,
beginner.
Prabhu.
Wow, amazing. Fantastic.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, next. Anyone?
I'll try, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Yatre me sadasatrupe pratisiddhe samvida avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshana. Hare
Wonderful.
Krishna.
Very nice. Fantastic. Wonderful. Next. Come on, quickly. Yes.
यत्रे मे सदा सद्रूपे प्रतिष्ठिते स्वसंविदा अविद्यायात्मानि कृते इति तद्ब्रह्मदर्शनम्.
Okay, this is not aviyayatmani. So avidya yatmani. Avidya.
Okay. अविद्यायात्मनि कृते.
Yes. All right, nice. Next. Another one more person who's a lucky one. Quickly. Vaishnav Kripa Prabhu, you want to try? Satya Narayana Prabhu?
Could I try?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Vaishnav Kripa Prabhu,
Okay,
then
great.
Satya Narayana Prabhu. Yes.
Yatra ime sada sat rupe pratisiddhe swa samvida avidya atmane krite iditat brahma darsanam.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, Satya Narayana Prabhu?
यत्रे मे सदा सत्रूपे प्रतिसिद्धे स्वसमर्पिदा
Sangvida.
संविदा अविद्यायात्मनि कृते इति तद् ब्रह्म दर्शनम्.
Very nice. Very nice. So sometimes when we see the word M, this M is always, sometimes they say they cannot like, hey, it's supposed to be sound like a M. All right. But the thing is, sounds like NG, all right, because we're going to pronounce the word M from the nose. So it sounds like M. Sounds like but it's not all right. So like for instance, when we see, all right, we see the word, okay, the spelling, Nara, Okay, there's a word like this, right? Sometimes the spelling is like this, right? So is it how we're going to pronounce? Sometimes we pronounce it Narasimha. No doubt, no problem. But at the same time, we also pronounce Narasingha. Singha. Singha means lion. Singha. So that's the thing. So this M is just always remember that. M on dot means how we going to say Singha. Simha also not a problem. Singha also not a problem. But when you okay, why in Sanskrit they put the word in such a way that your rhythm and your flow, I mean your songs will can be very spontaneous. You know, when you just imagine like some devotees love to sing. Okay, they love to sing. Like for instance, say like we are singing from the previous verse. Ata Brahma Yadavyaktam Avyuddha Guna Brahmitam Adirsha Shuddha Vastutvat Sajiva Punarbhava Yatre me Sadasa Rupe Pratishidde Swasangvida Avidya Yatmani Kritte Iti Tad Brahma Darshanam. So like that, when some people, when they want to sing, the what they call the intonation, you'll get a proper intonation by looking at all these words. Okay, like just now this word here. All right, so Brahma Darshanam. Brahma means what? First, there's a meaning Jodi, light, or the supreme personality, Parabrahma. But just now there's I think the Mataji Nanda Mataji, you're telling Brahma. So Brahma means what? Brahma means Lord Brahma. So Brahma, there's two different meaning. So when you put the iti tat Brahma darshanam, that means what? You are getting the darshanam of Lord Brahma. You all get it? So that's why we must be always pay attention to this thing. So suddenly when you get something that that doesn't have this kind of marking, right? So suddenly some people give you thing and say, can you just read it? So if you don't see any marking, please don't even read that mantra if you're not very sure. Right? In certain, if you become very familiar, you know, okay, where the thing is. But the best thing is don't even read it, because you may make mistake by pronouncing it wrongly. So you rather read the translation. All right. Where do you find it? Especially in Narasingha Kavacha. When you look at Narasingha Kavacha, there's no marking, no deity. I also will be like cracking my head and looking, but at last I found one and I'm keeping it. Even the print copy also. Right? There's a few things. So you must remember. So when you see such thing without this kind of marking, so advice, don't even read it. Okay. All right. Now let's look at yatra, whenever. What happened? Yatra, place of pilgrimage. So just can you see the word yatra? Yatra. Okay. So must be careful. Ime, in all these, sat, asset, sat and asset. That means gross and subtle. Okay. Rupe, in the form. Pratishidde, on being nullified. Sangasva sangvida, by self-realization. Avidyaya, by ignorance. Atmani, in the self. Krutte, having been imposed. Iti, the start, that is Brahma Darshanam, the process of seeing the absolute. All right. So that's the thing. So if you put Brahma Darshanam, it's the process of seeing Lord Brahma. Okay. Now let's look at the translation. Anyone, please read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mati.
Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and the subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord. Thank you, Prabhu.
Wow. Thank you, Mataji. Look at that wisdom. Wisdom that what they call Sutta Goswami is explaining to the assembly in Naimisharanya. In Naimisharanya, he's addressing this. When you look at all these things, avatar, then after they explain about the Virat Rupa or Vishwa Rupa, and now after that he said the gross and subtle. Gross have a form, subtle don't have a form. It doesn't have a proper shape or figure, right? But inside that, there's a soul, right? But now, Sutta Goswami is saying, very important. We must remember this by heart. This is not something that, this is the real self-realization. You know, when sometimes we go for a self-realization, what is a self-realization? To identify who am I, what am I, all right? So by doing that, that's when we start to know what is my capability, what is my possibilities. So here, Sutta Goswami says, whenever a person experiences, whenever, anytime that person experience, and how the experience come from? Through self-realization, by self-realization, that, what is the realization we're talking about? That both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self. But when the person comes to that level, at that time, he see what happened. He sees himself as well as the Lord. So this is the absolute self-realization process. So whenever a person experience true self-realization, so self-realization, that means you start to understand yourself. That means this gross body and my subtle body, is there any difference? Okay, what do you realize? That both, I mean, the gross and the subtle are given to you, but you're not that. So they have got nothing to do with the pure self. And who is that pure self? You are the pure self. You are the pure self. When you know, you identify when you come to the level of understanding your pure self, that's when actually you start to see yourself. When you start to see yourself, and that's when you also can see the Lord. Very interesting. Okay. So now, like sometimes they say, can you show me God? I want to see God, and this and that. So how to see Krishna? So this is what Sutta Goswami is mentioning. Okay, now let's look at the purport. It's very interesting purport actually. Now he says, the difference between self-realization and material illusion. Very nice. The difference between self-realization and material illusion. What is that? Is to know that the temporary or illusory imposition of material energy in the shape of gross and subtle bodies are only superficial covering of the self. You got it? So the difference between the self-realization, that is, and material illusion, the difference between what? Now Prabhupada is telling the difference between the 2 points, the self-realization and also in material delulu, material illusion. All right? Is to know that the temporary or illusory imposition of material energy. So we see the illusory. First, that means this material energy is temporary and also illusory in the shape of gross and subtle. How can we say illusory? I can see my body even. Can you see your body? Can we see each other? When I can see with my eyes, how can it be illusion? All right. Maybe I can say, suddenly I see a shadow at my back, some kind of ghost there. I see, I don't see. When I don't see, I perceive, I suspect, I feel. That we can call illusion. But why it says that illusory imposition? Why it's illusory? All right. In the shape of gross and subtle. Why it's called illusory? Because it is temporary. Right? The illusion in a human form that we are all experiencing is, we think we're going to live forever. That is why we work one, or then we go ahead and work second job, third job. We try to buy a house, buy a land, build a house, have a mansion. Now we have seen in the history. Now you go to Penang, all the big houses of all that mansions, all jamindars. What happened to them? The house taken over, and some house is not even, it became like a ghost house. Right? Some have turned into a museum, some turned into administrative office. So the dream when the man built is only while he's alive. After he's dead and gone, everything is gone. So like that. So we are all in that gross and subtle illusion. That's why we are always thinking of this thing. So, okay. So now it says the material energy is shape of the gross and subtle bodies is only a superficial covering. What is a superficial covering? It is just like a artificial covering. It's superficial. That means it's like outside covering. I mean, the covering that is, okay, how can I say? Superficial. Vaishnav Kripa Prabhu, can you give any example in medical term? All right, say when a person is injured. Okay, when a person is injured, so first they just put a temporary bandage before the real treatment starts, or something like superficial, temporary covering of the self. Okay, so now Prabhupada writes, so these covering take place due to ignorance. How can we understand that? What do you mean by due to ignorance? Can anyone just say something? What do you think by due to ignorance? Anyone?
Due
Yes,
to
Vaishnav.
ignorance, we take this body as permanent, Prabhu.
No, but now the thing he says, now Prabhupada is saying here, the covering take place. So the reason the covering, what covering? The subtle covering
And a gross
and the gross covering took place due to ignorance. What does that mean, Prabhu? How to understand this? What Prabhupada is trying to say?
That is just my opinion, Prabhu. That
Yeah.
no use.
I understand, but now the question is, why first of all we got this covering? And Prabhupada say we are getting this covering because of ignorance. So what is that ignorance?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, is it
Yes.
because we understand ourselves?
What is it?
Is it because we don't understand the self, ourself?
Okay. Now the question is, the Prabhupada is saying again, the covering took place. That means the reason that we got this covering, Mataji, the reason we got this gross and subtle body, because of ignorance. So what is
The ignorant feeling that we consider this body all in all.
that is after that. But the cause.
Ahankar.
Right?
We are the body, is it?
Sorry?
Thinking that we are the body.
That is also part of it. Okay, now a person got a disease. So the doctors always like to go and find out what is the disease. That's why the doctor will sit and interview why you got the disease. So they want to find the root cause of the disease. So now, what is that root cause? The ignorance.
Ahankar.
Ahankar is the cause of the root cause. But what is the root?
False ego, Prabhu.
That's all part of it. It's part of it. But I'm asking the root. False ego is one fruit, Prabhu.
No.
Ahankar is another fruit. I'm asking the root of the tree. What is the seed of ignorance?
It is there, it's not coming.
Prabhu,
Yes,
Prabhu,
Rajendra
excuse me, Prabhu, Manolis Prabhu, they take for granted, Prabhu. Human being, they take for granted. For example, our youth,
You're almost there. Yes, almost there.
they
But that's
take for granted. The youth is forever with us. That is due to ignorance. They think that youth, your forever will be young, but they fail to understand youth and
correct. You are
many
already
things,
there.
only
You are
temporary.
already there.
Temporary.
You have got the point, but what is the point? What is that? You're already there. You're already at 95%. Right?
Realization, Prabhu.
No, not realization. You're also almost there.
Minute independence, Prabhu.
That is given to you minute independence. You're almost there. So now, any one last guess?
Ignorance, Prabhu.
Yeah, what is the cause of ignorance? Why?
Not enough knowledge.
Okay. Because we all want to become
With the Lord.
we all wanted to become what?
Purusha.
Purusha. We all want to enjoy independently from Krishna. So when you all want to enjoy independent from Krishna, Krishna created entire material world and let you go in and say, enjoy yourself. Right? Because all of us want to have that kind of happiness. We want to enjoy in separate from Krishna. So once we come down, we stuck in this ignorance. Right? We get stuck. So that means, in other words, the covering take place due to ignorance. Because of the ignorance, we want to enjoy separately. We don't understand, we will think, and that's when the ignorance, the covering start to take place. In this birth, right? Just imagine I go to heaven. From heaven, I fall down to this material world. I become the king or the son of a millionaire like Ambani, son of Ambani. Right? To be born in this kind of rich and aristocrat family, you should have done a fantastic Sukriti in your previous birth. You have done something really great. But after I come born as a son of Ambani, I start to enjoy life. Lavish life. You know, having all the expensive watches, brand new expensive cars, right? And enjoy. So when I start to enjoy, that is the cause I fall down. Then after that, that's what Bhagavad Gita says as what the conscience of man when it dies, that will be next birth. Imagine when this kind of great personality died thinking about their property. The next birth, they'll come back to the property as a cockroach. Gone. From the higher Sukriti, they became a human being, and from a human being, they fall to the lowest condition of life. So like that. So we all want to enjoy. That is the biggest trouble, right? So now Prabhupada writes, such covering is never effective in the person of the personality of Godhead. So what is the word that we should highlight here? Let's look at the word that Prabhupada using here. All right. Okay, what should I use here? Okay, I use this color. So he says, such covering never effective to the person. To the person is called the personality of Godhead. So now Prabhupada is also establishing a point that God is also a person just like you and me. Okay. So knowing this, how? Just knowing this, how? Convincingly. Just not simply knowing. Knowing it convincingly. You are very convinced. All right. Is called liberation, Prabhus and mothers. Isn't that fantastic the way Prabhupada writes? All right. So what it says, knowing, yes, fair enough. But are you convinced? When knowing this convincingly, and that is called liberation or seeing the absolute. That day I was after the initiation ceremony in Malaysia, I met some devotees who are just newly initiated, and I spoke to them. I told them, knowing and understanding is ocean apart. Okay? Everybody can know everything, but can you understand or not? So that's why we are doing these detailed studies. The reason for studying very detailedly, because we want to understand. Knowing is, so what's the big deal? Yes, I know. So what's the big deal? Like the day someone is asking a question, did we really fell down from the spiritual sky? Or I heard that we came from the Tatashtra Shakti that's up in between that Lord Mahavishnu created by glancing at Rama Devi. Oh, this and that, this and I said, now let's come to the core point. By knowing this, what are you going to achieve? Are you trying to become a devotee, or are you trying to become a scientist? Because why I'm saying that person is not even interested in becoming a devotee or this thing, but he's like 6:30 there, but not there. All right. So he loves to listen to lectures and everything. But if he comes to me and asks in a very humble and submissive way, we can talk. But when the person comes and comes in a very challenging mode, what is the point talking to him? And by advising him, by making it very clear, what is the goal? No goal. It's just simply waste of time. I just say, what's the point? You want to know all this? All right. What is the advantage of you knowing this? Are you convinced that Krishna is the supreme personality? No. I want to know this so I can be convinced. So I explain to him. Right? Then after that, it's a little, but it's like, so then that's when, because I always do journaling on myself, then I was just thinking, what a waste of time. Waste of precious time. So like that. So knowing but convincingly knowing, that is called liberation. So this means that perfect self-realization, please underline the word, perfect self-realization is made possible. It is made possible. The perfect realization, it is been made possible. How? By adoption of godly or spiritual life. So, by adopting a godly and spiritual life, this kind of, right? A godly and spiritual life. So, this is possible. Now, self-realization. What does that mean? It means to become indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle body. Wow, what does that mean? So, when we look at this, self-realization means what? First, to become indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle body. Indifferent, what does that indifferent means? Not fulfilling the demands of the mind and the body. When the mind, our gross senses are somehow or other we are attracted to sense gratification. That is by default. Even how much you control yourself, you can, you distinct. When you see a very beautiful person, your eyes will run behind him. Yes or not? Can you all be very frank? Right? Whenever your nose, how much that you want to engage your nose in smelling only the incense and the flowers offered to Krishna, but when someone is having a very wonderful perfume, your nose will run behind that person. Yes? Even how much that you want to retain yourself, your tongue will still look for tasty food. Imagine that you offered a prasadam and they forgot to put salt. What will happen? What will happen? Come on. What will happen? Anyone like to say something?
Very angry, Prabhu.
You become very angry, yes. Hey, your tongue, no, Sarira Abdera Dorendrai Taikal. My tongue is very wicked. So my Lord have given the prasadam to get rid my wicked tongue. Oh, brother, indulge in, accept prasadam. By that you can control your tongue. That's the idea. After you sing all the songs, Sarira Abdredal Dorendra Etaekal Yupale Vishaisha Gore, then the prasadam comes in front of you. You take the, what? Why no salt? Who's the cook? He become very frustrated. Because I've seen that, I think around a month ago, 2 months ago, when a devotee was very good standing, when the Mataji, there's one Mataji in our center here, she's always health conscious. When she cook, she don't put salt. She put little salt. She cook, she put little chili. I have told her many times, look here, you're not cooking for yourself. You're not cooking for your health. You're cooking for public. It's a feast. They expect tasty food. Then that day she cooked. She said, what is this, no salt? Come on, go to the kitchen, bring the salt, add the salt. He said, no, I can't do that. Yes, Vaishnava Prabhu.
Prabhu, can I just ask you, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Hello?
Yeah, sure.
If they put more salt, Prabhu, I experienced that more salt.
Okay.
And then I think your friend who gave you the Nectar Devotion book, Prabhu, what's his name, Prabhu?
Shanti Vardhana.
Yeah, and the other one, Mataji, Prabhu, also your good friend.
Which Mataji?
The Bangalore, the one who passed away, his son-in-law passed away, Prabhu.
This Vrunda Mataji.
Not Vrunda Mataji, the other one, one is
Shanti Rupa, the mother-in-law.
what's her name, Prabhu?
Shanti Rupa.
Yeah, Shanti Rupa. And then Tyaga, Prabhu, the Tyaga something, Prabhu, the old man with the walking stick.
Yeah, I know.
They never complain at all, no, Prabhu. They're eating the buri along with the sabji, which is full of salt. Nobody complain anything, Prabhu. Are you not supposed to complain, Prabhu?
Well,
It is salt. It's actually all salt, Prabhu.
Yeah, all salt, you just avoid that, Prabhu. What you can do?
No. Why they didn't complain, 3 of them or 4 of them, Prabhu?
Yeah. No, that's the thing we must understand, Prabhu. What is the reason? See, when you eat prasadam, you should
Yeah.
not talk to anyone.
But
You
they're
should
talking to
isolate
each other.
yourself. No, I'm just giving an example. When you take
Yeah.
prasadam, we don't say you eat prasadam, we say honor prasadam.
Yeah,
So
brother.
take and honor the prasadam in slow, step by step. When you honor the prasadam, you should stay away from everybody. Like sometimes when you go to the temple, there's a prasadam time, it's a picnic time.
Yeah.
All put the rice and sit around and we'll be like talking some grandmother, grandfather story and be eating. That
But
is not the right
in
way.
your place, Prabhu, if we see a lot of salt, will you say, oh, very salty, la? Will you say that?
Pushed away, but Prabhu. If there's a lot of salt, what I will do, I will just push aside.
Or you will not say complain, Prabhu.
We will just because when that person eats, the person will realize why you want to make a fuss, right?
I mean, there's no realize because coming from the kitchen, everybody they won't blame, Prabhu.
Yeah, there's no one to blame. That's Krishna's Leela. He wants you to have more salt on that day.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So that's what even happened. Halwa. When you are hankering for halwa, you take and put the halwa. You know what happened? They forgot to put sugar and they put salt. Have any one of you experienced that? Have you experienced that?
Prabhu.
Anybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
You did, huh? Who's that? Who's the person saying yes?
Prabhu?
Yes, who's the person who's saying yes?
Satyanarayana.
Oh, okay, Satyanarayana, because I can't see anybody. All right. Have you ever experienced that? They put salt inside instead of sugar.
Yeah, bro. It's a new devotee was preparing.
Yeah.
So they in the kitchen they place in a different place. So
Yeah.
the normal person he knows, and the new devotee went into the kitchen to help. So suddenly they asked him to put sugar rather than she put a salt. But the amount of salt she put equal to the sugar, so it turned to be something else, bro.
Correct. Once I was thinking, okay, today is this thing, halwa, very nice. And you put the halwa, it's what is this? Hey, since when sugar became salty. So all like that. Okay, anyway, why am I going out of the topic now? So, where was I? Why I came to this route? What was I telling? So, can our tongue tolerate that? Cannot. Still looking for tasty food. Our tongue also runs behind tasty food. Like that, even though how much we try to distinct, but it always, there will be always a kind of demand. So what Prabhupada is mentioning here, the self-realization happen actually when we become indifferent. We do not have the demand, indifferent to the needs. The tongue needs taste, the nose needs fragrance, the eyes need beauty. When we try this thing, and of the needs of the gross and subtle bodies. Right? After you give up that, then become serious about the activities of the self. So now the question is, which self is this? Who's this self? What does it mean by activity of the self? So activity of the self means your constitutional nature, the what they call the service that you're supposed to do. Constitution nature, that means come to activity of yourself. Okay, that means when you start to perform devotional service. Now, Prabhupada writes, the impetus for activities of generated from the self. Right? The activities is generated from the self. But such activities become illusory due to ignorance of the real position of the self. So that means the result, that means when we do everything for the self, but when we going to do it for the sake of like eyes, the senses and the, you see, that's when such activity will become illusory due to ignorance. Okay. Example, I cook very nicely, but I eat myself. I cook, then I eat. That is ignorance. Because while you're cooking, your mouth are watering. Your mouth, wow, your eyes, your smell, wow. I know the preparation is going to be very tasty. After the food is done, immediately call upon the husband or wife or children, hey, come on. Amazing meal is ready. Put on the table, all the people, they just eat, enjoy, indulge. That is ignorance. But at the same time, when you cook in meditation thinking of Krishna, just think how Krishna is going to enjoy the meal. Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari. All mothers who cook must memorize this song. You know, Gaura, Bogarati. While you're cooking, imagine how Krishna was enjoying the meal. But don't do it. Krishna is enjoying nice meal, but I'm only cooking khichdi. Don't think like that. Your consciousness. After you cook nicely, then you offer to Krishna. Then you honor the prasadam. That is goodness, right? So the same thing like this. So once we start to do with this kind of due to the illusory, due to the sense gratification, it becomes illusion. Now what happened? Through this ignorance of satisfying our own self, what happened? Self-interest is calculated in terms of gross and subtle body. So self-interest. So everything, there's a calculation. That means there is a I and mind. The concept of I and mind will start to happen. There's calculation. Okay. So according to in terms of gross and subtle body. So gross, okay, what is I, mind? When I see this is mind. All right. The subtle body, the mind will start to say, yes, you need to have it because you're going to enjoy it. Right? And therefore, and through that, a whole set of activity is spoiled life after life. Prabhupada used to say this term, when there's a sack of rice, the bird will come and take only 1 or 2 grains and fly away. But when a man comes, he took the entire pack and go. Right? Because according to the gross body, this is something I need. So I can feed my wife and children. So wife and children is another gross body. But the mind and intelligence says, look here, it's a jackpot for you. There's a sack of rice. And you look around, nobody's there to claim. So when there's no one to claim, you have right to take it. Because given by God, the mind and intelligence will start to create justification. Right? So however one meets the self by proper culture. Now Prabhupada using this term, but whenever one meets the self by proper culture, what does that mean? One and the self. What does it mean? I'm telling you, okay, Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, when you meet yourself, I mean, what does that mean? You meet yourself. I, myself. You, yourself. But I'm saying now you meet yourself. They say, what are you trying to talk? See the way Prabhupada put this thing. So, when one meets the self, that means one means we are talking about the gross and body. Meet your actual self, the spiritual soul. Right? How? Through a proper culture. Right? Proper culture means what? Through execution of devotional service. That's when the activities of the self begin. Because we say, Isha Vashe Idam Sarva. Everything is not mine. Everything belongs to Krishna. I only take it according to my quota. Right? Therefore, a man who is engaged in the activities of the self is called Jivan Mukta. Again, Prabhupada used the word, when the man is engaged in the activities of self. So the activity of the self is not that you go into the jungle or forest and meditate. You go deep into, no. Activity of the self means the self-constitutional position. That means spiritual, let's say, okay, devotional service. When we do that, that's when the person is called Jivan Mukta. That means what? Liberated person even in the condition existent. So even though that we are in this condition existent, right? Even though we got 3 modes of material nature, we still go through suffering, pain. We hear some bad news, we hear some good news. Sometimes when we see someone misbehave, we get frustrated. Sometimes we see something beautiful, we get excited. Lot of things while we are in this conditioned body, but still we are liberated. Liberated while in the conditioned existence. Okay. So now Prabhupada explained this perfect stage. So this Jivan Mukta is a perfect stage of self-realization. It cannot be attained. No way you can attain through artificial means. You can't do this artificially. Okay. But it can be done under but under the lotus feet of the Lord. But he can only attain through the, but under the lotus feet means through the shelter of the Lord, who is always transcendental. So transcendental means what? Transcend the three mode of material nature. That means we are not talking about passion, ignorance, goodness. We are talking in the passion, the level of transcendental or the pure goodness, sattva guna, Suddha sattva, the pure goodness. I hope you all can recall what I'm saying. So now, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, he is present in everyone's heart. And from him, only all knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness take place. So, like the day, I was talking to one devotee, okay, I don't want to mention name, but the Prabhu also here. But this is a message for you, Prabhu. Don't acknowledge what I'm saying because I don't want anybody that you ask this question. But what I'm saying here is this. This is a very important statement. The Lord is present in everyone's heart, Prabhus and mothers. Must remember this. Remembering convincingly, like just now we have studied, knowing convincingly. From him, all knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness take place. Prabhu, whoever it is that you are in the group, please don't acknowledge what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to know it's you. But what I'm saying is you. That means what we can understand from this. From him, only all knowledge. Because the Prabhu was quite worried, if anything happens to me, can I remember Krishna? What happened? Because the situation was such, surrounded by non-devotees. If anything happens, who's going to come and chant Hare Krishna for me? Or is there anyone need to offer me pinda? If anything like that, what will happen to me? There was kind of worries that Prabhu had. But now what we can understand from here, Prabhupada is giving a black and white clear statement. From Krishna, all knowledge, all remembrance, and all forgetfulness take place. So what we can do, we simply live a carefree life. Carefree life, not in a very ignorant or not in a what they call in a irresponsible way. Carefree life by fully surrender to Krishna. Just like how the child is carefree. The child do not need to worry what's going to be the next meal. The child do not need to worry when he sees something toy, they just run. No worries, there's a car or whatever danger. Because the child 100% assured, guaranteed, the father will protect her, or the mother is there to protect. Just carefree life. So similarly, we surrender to Krishna and we tell Krishna, my dear Lord, I have taken up this path. Right? Ishopanishad, which one? There's I think that toward the later mantra, what they say? My Lord, please remember all the service I've done to you. Can anyone recall? Where's my Ishopanishad book? Right? So anyway, so if you find that Ishopanishad statement, the verse, my dear Lord, I hope you remember what all the service that I've done, I've did to you. I mean, which I've offered to you. Can you all remember that verse? Those who have done Bhakti Sastri. Can you recall Satyanarayana Prabhu?
I remember studied that, Prabhu, because you have to ask personally to Krishna that whatever so much of service I do, and then you must give me these blessings. But I couldn't remember the sloka, Prabhu. Yeah, it's true.
Okay,
In
never mind. What do you do, Prabhu? You take that sloka, you go and find out the sloka, and you post it in the group, okay?
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
So now what he says, remember. So in Ishopanishad says, my dear Lord, please remember all the things that I've done to you. And after that, you surrender yourself and just forget about it. Now it's in Krishna's hand. Right? Because for you to remember at the final moment or for you to forget at the final moment is 100% at Krishna's free will. But we have studied in Canto chapter 1, the previous chapter. Chapter 2, we studied what he says. Prabhupada explained very nicely as how we are, whether we eager to go back home or back, whether we have that eagerness, yes or no, doesn't matter. Okay? Whether we have that eagerness, whether we have the eagerness or we don't have the eagerness. But Krishna is very anxious that he wants you back home, back to God. Surrender to Krishna, surrender to Prabhupada, surrender to our spiritual master, all will be fine. For a devotee, they don't have lamentation about the past. In the past, it can be anybody. They have no lamentation about the past, and you have no aspiration about the future. What's going to happen in the future? No. At this particular moment, like what we are doing here, we are studying the Bhagavatam. We are going 100% detail into Bhagavatam. Nothing external, nothing is it, nothing. There's no shortcut. There's no side cut. I mean, we are just not trying to like minimize it. Sometimes when you go for Bhakti Vaibhava or whatever, they just like will run through the class. Of course, they have to finish it early because a new batch has to come in. But our goal is to go as much as we can. So this is an assurance for every devotee. When he is present in everyone's heart, Prabhus and mothers, you do not need to worry. You do not need to look for him anywhere. He can give you the knowledge, he give you the remembrance, he give you the forgetfulness. Everything will take place. Right? So when the living being desire to be enjoyer of the material energy, so when the living being wants to become enjoyer, that's when the illusory phenomena, that's when the Lord covers the living being with the mystery of forgetfulness. And what is it, forgetfulness? Can anyone tell me? What is that forgetfulness? That is the mode of what? The three mode of material nature. Forgetfulness in which mode now?
Ignorance, Prabhu.
Ignorance, correct. So that's one we can see here. So the forgetfulness happened because, because the living being desired to become an enjoyer. And what is enjoyer means?
Purusha.
Yes, this is what we meant here by Purusha. Because we all want to enjoy life. Gone. Prabhupada is genius. The way he put in words. Purusha.
Mantra
Now,
17, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Isopanishat Mantra 17.
17.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a phone, I don't have a book. Okay, can you recite the verse, Prabhu? Or just a translation? Just a translation.
Oh, that'd be good. Translation will be good. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes. Let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. And because you are in the ultimate beneficiary, please remember that all that I've done for you.
Go, Ranga. Can you see that? Even we think we have not done enough. At least, my Lord, until at which moment I've done, because I forgot what I've done. But you remember. The only desire I have, my Lord, give me that opportunity of coming back to you. I'm very anxious. Sometimes when the child, when we all want to go out, you know, when the children want to follow us, how they cry. They cry. They hold the hand. They plead. They roll on the ground. They'll scream. They will make a big scene just because they want to follow us out. Have you all experienced that? When you want to go to shopping or when you want to go to outstation? Oh, no, take me apart. Take me. I want to follow you. No, no, no. You say, no, please. Oh. We should cry like that to the Lord. That is the way that we should cry. But all that crying happens when we are in knowledge. Only through the knowledge we can have all these. Cry to Krishna. Right? Cry. Gaur Govinda Maharaj started this thing called the crying school. Why you should not cry? Right? Just imagine when there's a fire and you're stuck inside. How will you scream for help? How do we scream for help? Like that, we are stuck in the blazing material condition. But because we are, I shouldn't say we, because I am in ignorant, I don't see the urgency. Just like when the goat in front getting slaughtered, the goat behind will be enjoying the grass. Oh, the fellow killed already. He doesn't know the next will be he. We are in that level of ignorant, thinking everything is fine. We should cry to the Lord. Right? My dear Lord, how long more? Don't you have mercy upon me? You made me devotee. You introduced me to Srila Prabhupada. And you introduced me to the devotees. And through the devotees, I have learned many things. And through the learning, and now you introduce me to a guru, a bona fide spiritual master. And now I've got a guru. What else, Prabhupada? What else, Krishna? What else do you want from me? Then after that, where do you plead? You plead to your guru, spiritual master. Plead to Prabhupada. Every day offer a petal, a small flower, a petal of flower. Offer a flower to Prabhupada and beg Prabhupada, please put me in. All right? We pray to your spiritual master. Offer tulasi to Krishna. Whenever we perform arati, especially when you offer flower, offer tulasi, please pay attention. That is what we are trying to create here. That's why when devotees start to read like a speed train, I stop them. I say, now read word by word, because every word is full of sastric evidence. Every word is bhajan. Every word is deep meaning. So like that, when we offer a flower to Guru, please accept, my Lord. Look at the flower and look at the way when the thing falls at his lotus feet. When we offer tulasi, to the Lord, just look how beautiful. And I got this thing yesterday. After I plucked some manjaris and offered to my Jagannath, then when I put my hand, wow! Honestly, for a first time, I had a fragrance of tulasi, which I would never paid attention. Because few days ago, I was wondering when we were studying about these Kumaras, how the Kumaras were attracted to Vaikuntha by the smell of tulasi. They say, oh, I've never smelled such a fragrance. Through the smell of tulasi, they will end up in Vaikuntha. I was thinking, what's so nice about tulasi smell? But that day I realized. So now, after I offer that flower tulasi, I just take the hand and start to beautiful smell. So be very attentive in everything that you do for Krishna and for yourself. Even being attentive, even you're going to have a successful family life. Because I used to do this kind of program, self-development program. I used to say, why there's a problem in the house? When we are not paying attention to the details. Now, so now the mystery of forgetfulness, and now we don't worry, because the Lord covers all living beings. Okay now, and thus the living being is misinterpret, but still the living being, they do a misinterpret the gross body and the subtle mind to be his own self. Why? When the problem starts, they can't take it, they commit suicide. They don't know that you are only killing the gross body, but the actual trouble starts from your subtle body. You are killing the wrong thing, right? Give you an example. 6-7 months ago, there was always a leakage in my kitchen, my deity kitchen. We were thinking from where the water comes. Until I need to call the carpenter, they break all my tiles, they look. End up, they found out the water is leaking from the main pipe because there's a big tiles there and the water seeping from behind and goes in. And they said they have to break everything to find out. But suddenly there's one expert plumber. The expert plumber just saw, he said, no, I suspect the water is leaking from there. He just opened the thing and put into a new pipe, and the water problem solved. He said, then he laughingly said, you know something? It only supposed to cost you $80, but you end up paying $580. Just like that. So there's only a simple thing, but we are misinterpreting. So now Prabhupada again, he says, but by the culture of transcendental knowledge, Prabhus and mothers, what is the transcendental knowledge? The knowledge of the Bhagavatam. When the living beings pray to the Lord for deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness, the Lord, by his causeless mercy, removes the living being's illusory curtain, and thus he realizes his own self. Hari Bol! See how Krishna is revealing the knowledge to us. I've read this many times, but I don't remember seeing this. Anyone? Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, have you seen this phrase? Have you noticed?
Read this many times. Very fascinating verse.
No, but did you notice this phrase or not?
Yeah, I even read 3 times yesterday, Prabhu.
But you notice this.
Yeah, Prabhu.
All right. No, I'm saying before. But of course, when you are doing
Oh,
details,
no, definitely no.
now I'm just looking at it. How the thing never clicked my mind.
Only now I realize, Prabhu.
Yeah, correct. So now it says by the culture of transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge. That means by studying the Bhagavatam and Puranas. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'm not surprised. You just give up everything and go to Mayapur, Vrindavan. Or go to Mayapur. That book that teaches one to renounce. Beautiful. Okay, anyway. So transcendental knowledge. So what happened? So by the culture of the transcendental, culture means act. The civilized way of the transcendental knowledge. So what happened? The living beings praise, as I said just now, pray to Krishna, pray to the Lord, cry to the Lord for deliverance. Please pray, my Lord, I can't take this anymore. I'm in a blazing forest fire. I'm getting burnt. Right? Burnt here. After I die, I go to hell, even got burnt again, and somehow come back again. Come on, how long, Krishna? So I'm deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness. What is clutches? Hold tightly, hold. Hold very tightly, clutch. Right? No way you can escape from the clutches of ignorance. Forgetfulness means ignorance. So from the clutches of the Lord. Okay, clutches of forgetfulness. Then after you pray fervently, the Lord, by his causeless mercy, because that is what Krishna is all about. Right? When you look for a teacher, what he can give you? Only knowledge. When you look at your employer, what he can give you? Instruction, and of course give you salary. That's all. But when you look at Krishna, what he can give you? Only mercy. Right? Krishna will be looking, wow, when will you be going to come and dance with me in Rasalila? When are you going to come and play with me, Achidudo? When are you going to play Goli? When are you going to follow me into rare cows? When are you going to jump on me and I jump on you? He wants that. And we, Jiva, is naturally that. So by his causeless mercy, Prabhus and mothers, he removes the living being's illusory curtain. So now what we can understand from here, now the sun is very bright and I've put a curtain. Right? It is not far away. You and enlightenment is not far away, just right in front of your eyes. You pray to Krishna, Krishna just zoop. That's it. And by doing that, he realizes his own self. He starts to understand himself. And through the realization, what happened? He engages himself in the service of the Lord in his eternal constitutional position. What is that eternal constitutional position? What does this mean? All right. First, we talk about eternal. That means there's something which is permanently there. What? Your actual service, your constitution. Constitution, something you cannot change. Like when you look at Constitution of India, Constitution of Malaysia, once they've made a constitution, you can never change. Any opposition come, no, we have to change it. No way you can change the constitution. It's done, that's it. So our original position. So then we will go. That means what happened? We engage ourselves in the service of the Lord. As what I said, what is your eternal constitutional position? We don't know. Are you the peacock that makes Krishna happy? Are you that Gopal that going to wrestle with Krishna? Or are you the grass that Krishna going to dance on you? Are you the tree that Krishna going to hug you? All right. So, but what our goal? Of course, when you start to think all this, we are speculating. This is called sahajya. Very dangerous. So what we do, what our acharyas have taught us, we become servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Srimati Radharani has a secretary. And that secretary has a confidential secretary. And that confidential secretary has another secretary. And that secretary has many, many secretaries, just like the king. The king even have a secretary in this town. Yes or not? First, he got a main secretary that runs the country. Then he got the prime minister as another secretary. And the prime minister has his own secretary. And that secretary will have another secretary. And that secretary deal with the chief ministers or whatever other things that are happening in any state. And that chief minister got his secretary. And that secretary have this. So even when you go down the thing, you look at the final low standard secretary, he also live a very opulent life. He got a big car. He got a state title like Dato Tan Sri, right? He got a good income, good pension, and he drives with the with all this the police escort and everything. So now when you talk about the assistant, the servant of 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 the Lord, even that is very glorious. Right? There's a word called Gopi. After Gopi is Sakhi, friends. Then the third is Manjari. I don't go into the details. There's one book, oh Krishna. They were glorifying Manjari. So who is great? Okay, I just give you just a rough example. Who is great? Gopi, Sakhi, or Manjari? Right? So there was an argument. But end of the day, I just can't recall. I'm just paraphrasing. It says, Manjari is the most fortunate, even more fortunate than the Gopis. Why? Because the Gopis can see Krishna at one moment and they have to go back. But Manjari will go straight to the lotus feet of the Lord and remain there. You know, Manjari means the tulasi with the flower with some leaves. They call that Manjari. That Manjari goes and sit at the lotus feet of Krishna. She gets stamped, she got pressed and everything, but she remains there. How wonderful is Manjari? Anyway, I'm out of the topic. So now we talk about the eternal constitutional position. Then, so by knowing our eternal constitutional position, we becoming liberated from the conditioned life. That's when we become liberated from this conditioned life. What is a condition? I'm a Malaysian, I'm an Indian, I am this, I am that, I am blah, 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 whatever things that I am, it's that condition. Right? Just like the Malaysian Indians, they go to India, they can't tolerate the Indian food. Many people goes to India, come back with terrible food poisoning. Like recently when Mataji also from our group went there, she even was admitted in ICU because of some influenza spread or something like that. So even there's a conditioning because I've lived in Malaysia. I eat according to this thing. Certain things, ingredient that what the Indians do, we can't tolerate. Conditioning. Now from here, I go to America. I start to act like an American. My slang will change. Hey man, how are you doing? Hey Mike. Right? So my slang, I become conditioned as an American. So we have conditioning. So that's when once we come to the real position, that's when we become liberated from the conditioned life. And all this is executed. All this is done. Executed means performed by Lord. All is done by the Lord. Through what? Through who? Either his external potency or directly by his internal potency. It all be done through the external potency or directly by the internal potency. Ladini Samvidhi Samvit. Wow. Can you see that verse 33 is amazing verse? So, Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, you are with me. I was thinking, how can I summarize this thing? But you read it how many times, Prabhu?
Prabhu, sometimes in my heart I feel I'm a preacher like you, so I have to practice how to tell it now, Prabhu.
Oh, what? What is that?
Practice myself how you present it.
That's not important, Prabhu. What I'm saying is the purport of verse 33. Is it fantastic, Prabhu?
Very, very, very good.
Really amazing, huh?
Yeah, Prabhu.
You read it how many times? Is it two or three times yesterday? Is it?
Yeah, last night 3 times. Prabhu.
Oh, just look at that.
I know dwell on it for a long time.
Sorry?
I know that you will dwell on it for a long time.
Oh, okay. That's the thing. Wow. This is very, very, very powerful. This what? How many paragraph? Right? Okay, there's too many drawing here already. That means one, and how many paragraphs are here? 1, 2. Only 2 paragraphs. Wow, look at this, Prabhu. See, there's 1 paragraph here and 2 paragraphs. And these 2 paragraphs, Prabhupada basically summarize the entire process. My God. All right, now it's 11:53. So I think we must dwell in today's subject matter. I don't want to rush. So tomorrow is also going to be a more detailed reading. All right, text 34. It's another amazing reading. So maybe today we only covered 1 verse, and tomorrow also most probably we only cover 1 verse. Okay, because tomorrow also we're going to talk about the external energy, right? How the energy work, he can turn to the external energy into internal as his will. Okay, so here tomorrow what we're going to cover is how the external energy or the what they call the Maya will turn to Yoga Maya. The Mahamaya will switch herself to Yoga Maya. This is very important, verse 34. So tomorrow we only can cover 1 verse. Okay. Then 35. Okay. Then others, I think we can go a bit. Wow. Okay. Any questions? Any comment? 35. We got 9 more verses to go. 34. We finished 34. Okay. So 34 to 45, we got 10 more verses to go. Then this chapter ends. So any questions, any comment? All good? Hare Krishna. Hello. What happened to everyone? All right. So I think everybody's in ecstasy. Okay. I don't want to spoil your ecstasy. So with that, we'll end the session now. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Our great Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotee. And we'll meet again same tomorrow at 9:30. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.